Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to do this slimline card using the two-tone Flora stamp set. I've done a couple of videos using this and I'm getting tons of requests for more videos using two-tone Flora, so that's what I'll do today. The other set that I used, because two-tone Flora doesn't have any greetings in it, I have used the Something Fancy set, and this bundle comes with these fabulous dies. So I used the Grateful for the Everyday Magic of You, and then I used the smaller of these two dies to cut it out. But all the dies here go with the greetings in the set, and you can use them in so many other places as well. They're absolutely fabulous. So if you were on the fence about the Something Fancy dies or the Something Fancy bundle, it is really, really a useful set. So what we've got is our slimline envelope, which measures 8 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I just stamped some flowers on the outside of that. And then what I did is I took Smoky Slate and I cut it to, it was already 8.5, but I cut it to 7, and then I scored it at 3.5 to create the slimline card. It is narrower. You're not going to be able to see this very well, but there's a 1/4 inch on each side. I did that because I know that I'm going to be dimensionalizing items on the front, and with the envelope being narrow, you've got less kind of give on the edges before it gets too tight. So I've got my card base, and then I cut the Mango Melody piece underneath at 8.5, so it's still full length, so it's the same length as the card, and then by 3 3/8, so I've just got that narrow margin. And then I cut my basic white to, again, 8.5. It's the full length of the card. There's no border at the top and bottom, by 3.5. So we've just got that really skinny border in there. So that's how I did cut those, and I'll leave those measurements there so that you have them. I've already done all the die cutting and stamping. So used the Smoky Slate for the greeting, and then used a sponge dauber to go around the edges. These flowers I did with the Blushing Bride base and Sweet Sorbet overlay. And these little ones I did with Polished Pink with a Melon Mambo overlay. And I've done 4 of each. I've also done 4 of the leaves in Pear Pizzazz. So I'll just lay everything out so that we can see what we're doing here. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to stamp the two-tone stamping on the card. What I did first is I went around with the leaves first, and you'll see I've got some kind of gaps on this side. So I'm going to do the leaves first on this one. And I've realized that there's not a lot of kind of leaf activity over here. It's all kind of confined and kind of constricted to the one area. So I'm going to be a little bit more generous with my stamping of the leaves on this one. Kind of just varying them, keeping in mind we are going to have some to dimensionalize over the top. So let's just do this all the way up to make the card just a little bit fuller without that one border down the side with all of the gray flowers on it. We're still going to put some of the gray flowers on. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come in like that, just so that I don't kind of have an empty space. So that's all I'm going to do with that one. And now I'm going to come in and do a couple of flowers stamped directly onto the card. So I'm starting with the Blushing Bride, and I'm going to stamp one. I haven't left myself a lot of space to stamp here, so I'm going to stamp one there. And I'm going to put another one right in there like that. So that's the Blushing Bride. So I'm now going to come in with the Sweet Sorbet and do the overlay. So this is just a little bit tricky because I'm not necessarily going to be lining up perfectly because between the lights and the angle. I can't see 100%, so that's not too bad actually. So we do have some overlap with the leaves. So we're going to come in next with the polished pink and do a couple of flowers in the polished pink as well. And I'm going to pop one there like that. Oops. Now let's see if I can come over top of this and get that little piece I missed. There we go. Oh, it didn't turn out too badly actually. And I'm going to pop another one up here like this. And I think I might actually put another one down here like this. Keeping in mind at some point we have to put a greeting on here, so we need to kind of decide where the greeting is going to go. But the greeting can always cover up stamping. That's not such a big deal. I'm going to come in now, and with this one to line it up, it always takes me a minute, but there's a little gap in the die. So I'm going to have to pull this down just a little bit so I can see where I am. Oh, and I've offset that one by quite a bit. Doesn't notice too terribly badly though. And this one needs to go there like that. Again, when you're doing this on your workbench or desk, you're going to be able to line it up much more easily. I'm kind of flying blind a little bit when I do this. So I'm going to come in with my flower centers. It's this one here, a little bit like stars, or also looks a little bit like quilting, you know, like tufting on quilts or furniture. And I'm just going to add a little bit of interest along the edges, just fill some of that white space. Okay, I'm just gonna dab one there. I'm gonna put one there, maybe add one there. Okay, so now we get to do the fun part, and we get to plan where we're putting our flowers. So I've got 4 of each cut out. You don't need to have 4. You can have as many or as few as you want. But they are going to overlap and fill in some of those spaces. And I'm going to dimensionalize them. So I think I'm going to pop that one up there like that. This one can come down here, and you can overlap the stamped flowers as well. Just kind of making sure that I've got a decent amount of coverage. Again, you don't have to use all of the flowers. At this point, I'm thinking I might be using all of the flowers. This one is as I said, much more constrained to the one side. I think this one I'm going to do so it's a little more poofed out. So what I need is my dimensionals, because all of these flowers that I have stamped and die cut out, I'm going to dimensionalize down. And the leaves, what I'm going to do with the leaves is I'm going to flatten out the base of the leaf, but then dimensionalize the top of the leaf so that it gives it a little bit of lift up and over the flowers. So I'll pop that one there like that, and I have 2 more to stick down, and I'm going to have a couple of little flowers left over. You can pop them on the inside if you wanted to. I've got this one like this, and then this one. Okay, so we've got that built like that. I'm just going to put these ones off to the side. Oh, and my sticky notes are going everywhere. So now we've got leaves, and we can decide where we're going to put the leaves. I think I'm going to put one like that, and then I can put one like that, and then one like that. And if I need to, I can put one here like this, which I might actually do. So now that I've got those placed, it makes a very busy background. You could do them in 2 different colors if you wanted to. I'm just going to grab my scissors and snip some of the pieces along the edge, just like this. There we go. Because this is a little bit tight to have a full dimensional on. So I'm just going to tuck that over like that. This one I'm going to dimensionalize like that. And if you're putting a dimensional over a flower that is already dimensionalized, you're just going to get that little bit extra lift. I'm just going to tuck that in like that. Then this one goes like this. And then we also dimensionalize the greeting, and I think the greeting is going to go right there. So let's just pop another dimensional on there. And this one's going here. I like it when they overlap. It gives that such a level of depth and interest, like normal flowers would in the garden. They don't all lay side by side. They overlap. And I wanted this one to come over top like that. So let's just make sure all that's plunked down. And I've got a gap here, which is going to be the perfect space to put my greeting. You could put some ribbon behind this too. I think I've got some, I do have some polished pink ribbon. I'm not going to put it on, I don't think, but I'll cut a piece and I'll show you how it would look, and then we can decide if we should use it or not. So you can do a loop like this if you want, and then put it down with the ribbon like this. Or you can do what I've done in a couple of videos just recently. You can just kind of weave it back and forth and then put it down. I think on this one, the ribbon is just going to be a detail too much. If you like it, absolutely 100%. These cards and these videos are a guideline. You absolutely do whatever you like with the colors that you like. But like I say, I think this one is just going to be a little bit too much if I put the ribbon on. So there we go. It's not quite straight, so I'm just going to pop that up a little bit. There, that's better. I've just tucked it under the flowers just to give it a little bit of depth as well. And now we can simply put the card together. So I'm going to put the Melon Mambo on. Just run a line of adhesive. I have to clean my adhesive dispenser again. It's got a little gunky, so sometimes it picks up the adhesive from the ribbon of it. Okay, so that's good there, just like that. Then we're going to pop this one on. There's lots of things on this one, so we're going to just make sure all our edges adhere down really well. And there we go. So I have used dies and stamps from the two-tone Flora, and I've used a stamp and a die from the Something Fancy Greetings bundle as well. Let's pop that down like that. And there we go. We've got two different versions of the same card, and I have to say I think I like this one better. It looks just a little bit more even, so I can't really decide which one. And I think I'm going to come in and put another leaf over this one. I'm going to cut another set of these and just pop it in over top of that one. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned so we can create together again soon.